Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are you all doing, by the way? And hopefully you had a very nice weekend, considering that we did have quite a long one. Since the day before I am recording this, we did celebrate both Easter and Trans Day of Visibility. So hopefully you all had a nice little moment to share with your loved ones and with your family, or just, hopefully you had like a nice little time in general. Yeah! And first and foremost, I just want to go out and, oh, by the way, thank you, Jay Monty, for the extra subscription there. But I just want to give out a big apology to my Twitch viewers, mainly because of the fact that I started out very, very late. And it's mainly because my computer decided to give me some very last minute unexpected problems. I guess it decided to go and pull a very stupid April Fool's prank on me, where literally all of my files decided to just disappear or to just go and misplace, where everything that you see here, like with the layout and stuff like that, decided to go and like not be there. So I tried to go and fix things up, tried to restart my computer. It took godforsaken forever, took way too long. So either way, I just want to go and apologize for having those problems. Oh, and thank you for the subscription there, Omid. Yeah, honestly, it was just really baffling to try to get through all that. But hey, the good news is I did make it, and that, oh, we do have a train. Oh my god, so it's been a while since we actually did get a hype train going on. That's actually exciting to see. Awesome. Hopefully we could go and continue this hype train. Hopefully we could keep it going. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Yes, I am sorry for the inconvenience that I've put onto you all and made you wait for that, because honestly, even I did not expect my computer decided to go all stupid. But then again, it did ask me to do an update, so that might have played a little bit of a factor in there. Yeah! And, oh, yay, more subscriptions. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Continue the train, folks. Continue the train! But anyways, before we go and do get things started, there is one thing that I would like to go and promote to you all. Now, this is not necessarily something that I'm being sponsored, but this is something that oh my god, wow, the subs really are continuing. You guys really want this train to keep on going. Holy crap. It's been a while since I've seen that kind of motivation. But as I was saying, I got some friends who are working on something very, very special that I figured you should probably hear, and especially if you are in that area, this might be perfect for you. Considering that I am very well aware that there are some of you who are watching or listening that you are in the autism spectrum. And if you are around the Los Angeles area, especially on Friday, then I have something for you. A special conference called Autism in Entertainment. Excuse me there. Yes, for those of you who don't know, Autism in Entertainment is actually a very special conference that's going to be happening specifically on Friday, April 5th. That's going to be helping out people in the autism spectrum to go and actually find a career path in entertainment. Rather it be, like it's stated here on the website of autismentertainment.org, to go and find some jobs in film, theater, television, production, animation, and gaming design. And this is all organized by some people that I have collaborated with for a while, helping them out with their stuff. Specifically the Orange County Asperger's Support Group, where they're teaming up with Zavicon, which that company is specialized in helping people, specifically neurodivergent people, to go and find jobs. And they decided to go and organize this special little event. And especially if you are an animation fan who wants to pursue a career in animation and, of course, in the autism spectrum, then this will actually be a very special treat, considering that the keynote speaker of this conference is going to be none other than Jorge Gutierrez, who you know as the creator of El Tigre, The Book of Life, and Maya and the Three, as well as you got some other guests that are going to be on board giving people advice, including character designer Steven Silver. And again, I'm not paid to go and promote this. This is actually something that I have been aware for quite a while, and I know the people at OCASG, and they're very nice people, fantastic people, and it's just something that they have been organizing with this major event that honestly, I feel like this is just absolutely beautiful, and I just want to go and to give a very special shout out, and especially if you are, of course, in the autism spectrum and just so happen to be in the Los Angeles area, specifically on April 5th, then all you have to do is head on down to the Skirball Cultural Center to go and take a look at what opportunities may find that you may go and discover. All right, so anyways, with that said, now it is time that I would like to go into the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, are you all ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Are you ready? I mean, you guys have been setting up a hype train, so I'm sure you must be ready by now. Let's see. Yes. Okay. All right. I do see a lot of people so far. They are saying that they're ready. That is great to see. And with that said, I believe now it is time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that I have for you today, well, actually, for the first couple of stories, we're going to be watching some trailers. And the first one that I have for you all is actually going to be from GKIDS, or as we can officially say right now, the Oscar-winning distributor GKIDS. You know that when they find an independent animated feature and they want to show it to the world, or more specifically in North America, you know that they got something special in their hands. Especially with this movie, which maybe it's not the biggest independent animated feature that we have heard about, especially from GKIDS recently, but still, I think this is something that really should be worth checking out and should find a wider audience, considering that it's been making a great round at festivals, including Cannes and the Annecy International Animation Film Festival last year. But now this year, we're going to fully see what this is all about. So with that said, let's go and start things off by checking out the trailer for the upcoming GKIDS animated feature, Mars Express. And that is Mars Express, to which the movie shall be coming soon. Whoops, sorry. Yeah. Robot jailbreaking. We did catch that before. Yes, this movie will be coming soon nationwide, at least in North America, starting on May 3rd. Now, I will say that this is one of those movies that at first, it definitely does look very familiar, and it is part of a subgenre that, well, we have seen a lot from time to time, and that they would probably go into the same beats. Specifically with Mars Express, this is the kind of movie that shows this cybernetic future in which humans and robots coincide and live together. And then there are some that can be in between, where they would be full-on cyborgs. And we've seen it plenty of times before with many movies that would show this type of future. Actually, not just movies, but even TV shows. A lot of different projects do so. You probably remember, like, we've already seen it done with iRobot, or we've seen it very recently be done in The Creator last year, and even in animation with some Cyberpunk 2077, and especially Ghost in the Shell. And this is one that many people have actually compared to this to, especially when it has a similar storyline. I mean, in this trailer here, we see a whole lot of the world building and what they would go and establish, like what is this kind of future that's happening in the 23rd century. But more specifically, this is kind of like a crime drama in which we see two cops that are collaborating together. One that is a lot more human and another one is a lot more of an android. And they're trying to figure out this whole mystery that is going on, in which it involves hackers being criminals, and you got like all the robots that are trying to rebel, or they're trying to set themselves free. And not to mention, of course, you got a whole lot of scenes that are very action-packed. So I don't blame you if you would go and look at this, and there's going to be a lot of memories to Ghost in the Shell. But to give this credit, though, I will say from what we have seen in this trailer, they do show a lot of originality, and I will say it's very impressive with the way that they would present this type of future. Like, even though this seems like something that we've heard and seen so many times before, there is an element that, oh, I see someone complimenting my Pikachu shirt. Thank you so much. But when you do look at this, it's actually something that, you know, it has its own uniqueness to it. There is like something that it offers to the table that you don't often see with any of these like sci-fi movies, and the way they would show the cyberpunk future, or this cybernetic future, especially with how humans and android coincide. But really, for me, I would say it's the world building that's very interesting. Like, even some of the smaller stuff that would happen. Like, one great example is like when they're at the bar, like suddenly you would see like even how they would go and pour the drinks. Sometimes they have to go and like be strict, like this part right here.
Sobriety mode activated.
Yeah, turn it off.
Both.
You know, and like you got a lot of these different parts, but also one thing that it really does highlight is the fact that it feels, you know, this is something that it feels like it would go more into the film noir genre, more so than in Ghost in the Shell, especially when you see them often in the red light district, where you see that they're in the section that is filled with like many different strip bars, and you would see like so many different, well, as they say, synthetic prostitutes. And not just that, but they even show like with the different kind of robots, like they're not just like cyborgs or just androids that they're meant to look human, but they're actually like, you know, they're robots on the inside. No, like they offer different flavors. Like, let's just say with the designs, like right over here, they're very creative with the many different ways that they can go and hype up the sexuality, if you will. So I can imagine that there might be some that may find that kind of different appeal with it. You know, it's yeah, and I'm not saying that like, you know, this is all about those horny robots. But it shows like you know, they're going a bit more unconventional, and they're going to go into a more different approach in terms of how they would go and bring in this world building. That in a way, like, yeah, I'm sure that there might be some thought-provoking elements onto this, similar to Ghost in the Shell. But then again, it feels like this is going to be a lot more about the mystery. This is about solving a crime, more so than it would be about contemplating of the meaning of life and stuff like that. I mean, it kind of at least that is what I'm hoping from seeing this trailer. You never know like when you actually do see it, but from what I've heard also, considering that, you know, it's already made its rounds and festivals and stuff like that, many people have stated that it is actually a very solid feature. Like, this is the kind that you have to see to truly believe that, yeah, maybe you'll think about the Ghost in the Shell comparisons, but then when you watch it, they say that, well, you forget about it and you're immersed into that world. So it's already gotten some praise when it was already released last year, and now it'll have a chance for people to actually go and check it out. So I just figured, you know what, this is actually pretty cool, and I've heard about it from time to time, and I just want to go and share my thoughts from what I've seen in the trailer and to share with you all about this movie, especially if we're going to be in the mood of supporting more independent animated features. Then why not go actually support them, especially if they're going to be coming to the big screen? I mean, like, GKIDS has been doing a great job in providing us with indie films, so I think, like, we should go and return the favor to go and actually help those indie films out and actually go and watch them when they do appear in a cinema near you. But anyways, that's all of my talks for Mars Express. Again, if you want to go and check this movie out, then keep in mind that it will be released, at least in North America, on May 3rd. All right, so with that said, now I want to go into the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what do you all think about Mars Express? What did you think about the trailer that we have seen? Are you all intrigued by what we have watched? Are you a little hesitant? Let me know what you all think about it. Let's see what we got now. All right, so let's see what people have to say. I have heard about Mars Express for a while now since Annecy Film Festival. This looks really cool. I love the animation. The art style looks amazing. I can see the filmmakers took some influence from Blade Runner and Akira with a bit of cyberpunk. I'll definitely take a look once it's officially out. Also, props for talking about this since I'm also interested in it and also giving indie animation a hand. Exactly. Like, the more that we spread the word about indie animation, the better it will be. You know, not just the ones that are just coming out on YouTube. Like, yeah, it's great to go and help promote stuff like Lackadaisy and The Amazing Digital Circus, but don't forget about some of the others that, you know, they're trying to go and promote outside of the internet, like the ones that are going around in festivals and stuff like that. They also need a hand too, and I mean, those are also indie films as well that are no different than stuff like Lackadaisy or the works of Vivzy Pop or The Amazing Digital Circus. So I just want to go and mention that. Let's see. As someone who really loves the works of GKIDS, this trailer looks really impressive. While the story is something we've seen before, it feels like it's doing it in a unique way. On top of having gorgeous animation and solid world building, this looks like another great movie from GKIDS, so overall I'm very excited for this. All right. Well, this seems like an interesting sci-fi movie. I just hope I'm not too bogged down by technobabble, though the fact that the theme seems to be about artificial beings, I'm sorry, I'm concerned about propaganda of pro-AI. Like, not even sex workers are safe from AI. Now, I understand what you mean, and I mean, like, even during Easter, I've had discussions with relatives in regards to AI, and it is a very frightening prospect. And I mean, I don't think, like, with movies like this, that's not necessarily their goal. I don't think this is going to be, like, some AI propaganda, like, you know, I don't think they're going to go and tell you, like, hey, if you want to go, you know, like, hey, if you want your life better, then why don't you go and support AI? Then you'll get women that have like that have 3 sets of legs, you know? Like, come on, man, this is what you get when you support AI. They don't gotta go and do that. Come on, trust me on it. Oh boy, but yeah, like, I understand, like, the, you know, like the like, I wouldn't say paranoia. That seems a bit harsh. Like, I know a bit of the scare of AI is, like, looming around, and it can be pretty real, but I don't think this is one of those movies that's trying to help AI. I don't think that's the big goal here. Let's see now. What other comments would there be? Just want to go and double check. So far, from an Oscar-winning animation distributor, Mars Express looks very interesting. Love the sci-fi anime-style animation. I am going to see this as curiosity. Also, this is my first time hearing about Mars Express. Hey, good. I mean, that's kind of my goal here. If there are people who don't know about movies like this, I mean, I want to go and try to spread the word about it and show some intrigue. All right, let's see. I didn't got much to say, but I will admit the aesthetic and animation looks really lovely with the cyberpunk theme. GKIDS are getting really good when it comes to films like that, and when it comes to indie films, we can also support the upcoming Robot Dreams, which got me very interested. Yes, that is true, and it's kind of a coincidence, actually, considering that Robot Dreams Well, that's not going to be from GKIDS. That's going to be from Neon. And they decided they're going to go and release that on May 31st, which is honestly really weird. And I know there's been a lot of people who have been questioning that, especially if it would have made sense to go and release that much earlier, like before the Oscars, so they can capitalize on that buzz and get more attention through that. I don't know, like, maybe it's a bit too late considering that it only got Oscar nominated, but then again, as expected. But still, though, hey, at least you'll have an option to go and see it. All right, let's see now. This movie reminds me of a combination between Ghost in the Shell and Total Recall. Great movies, by the way. But this really got me hyped and aroused thanks to the AI sex robots. But this movie got me concerned of how AI is evolving too much in our reality. However, that's just my concerns. But back onto the trailer, I am pretty curious about this movie. Will it do good as MFKZ? Who knows? That's all I have to say. But then again, rather if it's like better or worse or if it's good or not, just go and watch it. Like that's one of the best ways that you can go and do in terms of supporting independent animation. Just go and watch it. Like pay for your tickets, pay for the physical media or whatever. Like show some support that you are intrigued of what animation has to offer outside of the mainstream ones, like outside of like the Disneys and the Illuminations and the Sonys and the DreamWorks and all that kind of stuff. So that's just one thing I want to go and present to you all with this. Again, if you are intrigued of Mars Express, then keep in mind that the movie shall be coming soon on May 3rd, I believe. Yes, on May 3rd. All right. But anyways, we're going to go on to our first break, and when we do return, I got another trailer that I want to show you, but this is actually going to be something that's a bit more mainstream, and, well, unfortunately, not as well liked as Mars Express, so stay tuned for that. Alright, welcome back. So, our next story, we do have another trailer that got a lot of people talking throughout the week, but not for the right reasons. Especially from the fact that this is going to be something new from Netflix. And I know a lot of people have been contemplating, like I saw on the chat wall, that some of you have been arguing that maybe I'll be talking about the new Woody Woodpecker movie, and I know that's been getting a whole lot of different mixed reactions, but that's actually not the one that I want to talk about. This is actually one that, debatably, I think the internet might have found their next cartoon to absolutely hate after Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. And you guys will know what I mean, as we will be checking out the trailer for the upcoming Netflix animated series, Good Times.
I have important news.
Let me guess.
And that is Good Times, to which it will be coming soon on Netflix, very soon actually, on April 12th. Now, I just want to go and put out a big disclaimer, and this is going to be a bit of a massive shock. I know, like, maybe a lot of people might not understand this, or maybe they didn't know, but the truth of the matter is, this is going to be a very serious confession. I am white. I don't know, like, I know, like, some of you, like, might be taken aback. I know this is, like, one of the biggest scandals you probably have heard, but yes, I am indeed as what they may say, as a honky-ass cracker. So, in that regard, you probably would guess that maybe I'm not necessarily the target audience of Good Times right over here. And even when I first watched it, like, I did get that sense that, I don't know, maybe there's a part of me saying that maybe it's just because, like, it's not for me, it's not, like, necessarily aimed for me because it wants to go for a black audience. In fact, I just want to go and tell you this right now. Like, if you want, like, a great reaction to this trailer in particular, then I highly recommend you go and check out Double Toasted. They actually did a video discussing about the trailer that we have just seen. And I'm saying this not just because they are black, but also that they are fans of Good Times. Considering that this is actually a remake of the classic 1970s show, or I think it's from the 80s or something like that, but it's a classic TV series. Chances are maybe you have heard about the famous catchphrase, Dynamite! In fact, they actually did say it in this trailer right over here, but it was actually just in live action, but now Netflix decided to go and take it into animation and decided to give that a massive update. So I just want to go, again, make a big statement that Double Toasted, go check out their reaction, because they definitely have a stronger word on this than I would, honestly. So yeah, take with what I say as a grain of salt from the white guy just reacting to this cartoon here. But I also want to state that I've never seen an episode of Good Times. My knowledge on the show is the most basic of basics. But everyone will go and tell you that if you want to know what Good Times is, this thing right here, yeah, this ain't it. None of this has anything to do with the original show. And in fact, this is so far very much hated, because if you look at the trailer on YouTube right now, you'll see the like and dislike ratio. Oh boy, it is not in its favor, where as I'm recording this, it's got about 4,400 likes compared to 28,000 dislikes. And I'm not gonna lie, in my second viewing, yeah, now I see why. And one thing that I will state that is pretty clear as day, what is pretty obvious with what it's doing, it's when you go and take a look at the list of executive producers here. You got Stephen Curry, you got Norman Lear, but check it out. You got this familiar name, Seth MacFarlane. And just by looking at the main family of this, you could tell that obviously this is your typical Seth MacFarlane family. You got the entire recipe here. You got the really large and kind of dumb father right over here, the biggest of them all, quite literally. And then you got the hot wife who's got a good set of TNA. And then you got the three kids, where you got you got the daughter, you got the son, they're more or less in their teenagers right over here. And then you got the little guy who's usually is a baby, but not all the time. But you got the little guy who is more the comic relief, which in this case here, it is another baby, but is also a drug dealer and kind of a pimp as well. So basically, you got this entire recipe where it's almost like this is more of a reboot of the Cleveland show, more so than it is a reboot of Good Times. And it's not just that, and honestly, it's not necessarily the fact that it's yet another Seth MacFarlane series, but it's more black themed, that people are upset about. Number one, the big thing that probably really does stand out is in regards to the animation. And oh boy, it is very rare, or honestly, I don't think I've ever seen animation this choppy. I know a lot of people have been talking about, how stylistic it can be when you lower down the frame rates, but this really does take it to a whole new level, where we are living in a world where in-betweens do not exist. When you look at this, maybe there's a bit, but but then sometimes the movements, they can be very simple, just like that. It's almost at the point where it's cartoon, when a cartoon makes fun of a cartoon, when a cartoon character watches a cartoon and they become super simplistic, kind of like that. That's what the show is really looking at. Or at least one of the worst examples is when they talk about the system. When you have at one point, where is it? Yeah, right over here, when they see the system that's coming, and then suddenly, you just see that you got the FBI people literally walking in 2 frames. Literally just I'm just wondering, what the fridge is it? What does the this even count as a walk cycle? And it's at the point, like, I remember the first time I was watching it, I wanted to keep an open mind. I was thinking, like, you know, okay, maybe this might be like a creative choice. Maybe they want to go and reflect upon, considering that this is set in the projects, that they want to pull a bit of something like Ralph Bakshi, where the budget is, you know, the budget is like purposely low and the animation is cheap to reflect upon the cheap environment of the projects, you know, something like that. But watching it again, it's like, no, especially when there's a lot of moments where it can be very inconsistent. Like, there are times when the animation is not like this, you know, there can be a bit more movement, or sometimes, like, they would also include some CG as, oh, hold on a sec, like, sometimes some CG can actually be involved, and that can be smooth. There's just so many different inconsistencies that, honestly, it's at the point where now it doesn't really have an excuse. It's like, it's cheap, you know, it looks cheap because it's a cheap cartoon. You know the best way to describe this? I would say this animation here is what I'd like to call it's a style animation. The ones that the animation is clear as day, that's just flat out bad, but the people who want to try to like it, they would desperately try to push any excuse to try to actually make this look good while antagonizing the people who would criticize that animation. And what they would say is just, it's a style. Make it so vague and make it sound like they're trying to make a statement or trying to make a point when in reality they're saying nothing. Like, this really, you know, like, you again, like, when you do go back to when, like with the police coming in, like this, you know, like, you would criticize it, but then, like, you get some pretentious cartoon fans going in like, oh, well, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about because he doesn't know what a style is. The reason why this is great is because this is a style. Do you not comprehend what a style is? That, you know, honestly, that's what I feel like this is the best way to describe this animation. But it's not just that, though. There's also another criticism that, honestly, when looking back at this, yeah, this is true. The thing is that despite the fact that it really wants to talk about the problems with what's been happening in the projects, how Black life can be so difficult, the way that they are portraying African Americans and all different kinds of Black people, we're going into stereotypical territory. Like, honestly, a lot of what they are presenting, like the lifestyle that this family is living, it really is like, this is not what Black people actually are. This is more like Black people from the perspective of ignorant conservative men. Like, this is from, like, some ignorant executives who have no idea, like, what this struggle is, and they would go and say, like, oh yeah, hey, can you make the baby a drug dealer? You know, there's a bunch of those in the projects. Oh, and can you make him obsessed with breasts and stuff? Oh, and can you make them look even more poor? Oh, can you make them look more gangster? You know, like, it's like demanding requests like that where, like, it wants to help, you know, like, it's something that it wants to try to help out Black people in the same veins of, like, Boondocks or Proud Family, but it's doing more harm than it is good with all of these portrayals that they are trying to make. So honestly, from looking at all this, I can't help but feel like especially like when you have like this kind of image right over here, really summarizing a lot of the issues with what's going on in this show. And yeah, I get, and honestly, just looking back at it, yeah, I do understand what the backlash is about. At first, I was thinking like, okay, maybe it's just because, you know, like, I'm not really like vibing with this because this doesn't look like it's a show for me. But no, it really is just the fact that from what they're portraying in this trailer, it just absolutely sucks. It is a pretty awful looking animated series, and yeah, this could be something that will quickly turn out to be a flop, or I don't know, like at best, this is going to be the kind of thing that you're going to see some YouTubers that they will take this as materials and just make a angry-filled review with with a lot of material to just go and slam again and again. It's honestly ridiculous. So, yeah, at that point, Yeah, I don't think this is going to be something that we will see that, like, despite the many big names that they got attached to it, rather it be people like Seth MacFarlane or Stephen Curry, or even some of the voices as well, because they do have, like, a prominent cast that is attached to this. If I can go back, like you got J.B. Smoove, Yvette Nicole Brown, Jay Farrow, Slick Johnson, Marcy Martin, and Wanda Sykes. Like, despite all these prominent names, I don't think this is going to be something that people would actually get down into. So, yeah. But then again, I will say this. There is a likelihood that maybe, just maybe, when this series does come out, it actually could turn out to be good. There could actually be some legitimate potential that can be found. I mean, keep in mind, like, you guys remember last week when I talked about the Poonaverse, and I was slamming hard on it because of how awful that first movie was? So I was thinking, like, okay, yeah, with all these sequels that you're trying to make, and with, now you want to make a whole cinematic universe, this is worthless, this is dumb, I am not on board with any of that, because that first movie was crap. But then suddenly, something miraculous happened in which the second film came out, and that actually gathered some positive reviews. Now, they weren't great reviews. Like, at best, they were getting like 6 out of 10s, but definitely much better and a big step up to the first feature. So there might be that likelihood that maybe this could turn things around, and the Good Time series might actually turn out to be, worth watching. And it's just really the people working on the trailer, like, they did such a terrible job presenting this. There is that possibility as well. But again, those likelihoods are honestly pretty rare. And with this, it's gonna have to do quite a lot if it wants to convince people that this is actually worth watching, that this is gonna be the next big Netflix animated series. Honestly, I highly doubt that, so yeah, I don't think this is going to be worth my time, or it's going to be rare to find if it's going to be worth anyone's time. So just saying that if you are interested in knowing when the Good Times series is coming out, then keep in mind that it will be released on Netflix on April 12th. And with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall right now, and I'd like to ask you all, what do you all think about the Good Times trailer? Were you interested in checking this out? Do you disagree with me and think that there might be some potential, or do you think this is a complete bust? In fact, I'm going to go and write something interesting. I'm going to go and make a poll right over here, to which I want to go and ask you all, not if you're excited, but if you are going to watch Good Times. So will you, hold on a sec. Will you watch Netflix's Good Times? So let me just go and put in yes, and then I'll put in no, and then we'll see what the poll has to say. All right, so anyways, going into the chat wall here, the original Good Time series was really good. It was a very influential show of the 70s and having well-written black characters. This ain't it. Just looks like another generic Seth MacFarlane produced cartoon. I looked up on reactions on YouTube, including black reactors, and no one is liking it. I'm not liking it. It's painfully unfunny, and the animation looks cheap. Yeah, and that's another thing that, honestly, I kind of have a problem with it. None of it is funny. Like, this really feels like a series that's just trying too hard. Like, everything that it tries to do, it feels like it's trying too hard, and yet, ironically, the animation is not doing any work. It's, like, very lazy right there. But, like, the comedy, the representation of black people, the social commentary on the projects and stuff like that, everything feels like it's trying too hard, where it feels more like a disservice than anything that is helpful. Like, the best way to describe it is that it feels more like something that desperately wants to be Family Guy and the Boondocks, while somehow slapping the name Good Times to attach itself to a nostalgic property. That's really all this is. All right, let's see what we got here. Seth MacFarlane involved in a cartoon about African Americans. Yeah, because that worked so well last time. This looks awful. Like, this looks like the Boondocks if it was made by people who don't like Boondocks. Which honestly is very ironic, considering that one of the producers I have heard was also a producer of the Boondocks animated series. But anyways, everything looks absolutely appalling. I'm not even sure black audiences would like it. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur smokes this. Netflix had what could have been their animation golden goose with Inside Job, but ever since they canceled it, they've been giving us crap like this. Yeah, I can imagine, especially with their canceling spree. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be one of their many, many shows that will not last more than just a season 1. Anyways, I know that with me being so white you could see through me half the time, I'm not the best person to judge this, but with that said, I don't get it. I mean, the animation is pretty rough, I'll say that, but looking at the character dynamics and the comedy, I could definitely tell it won't be for me. I think it will be for some fans at some point, but I may not be one of them. I'm probably going to stick with some better shows like this, ironically considering who's executive producing Ted. Yeah, you know, that's the thing, is that, you know, as a white person, I was thinking, you know, like, with my first reaction, like, I was dumb thinking, like, okay, maybe it's just because it's, you know, like, I'm not real, you know, it doesn't look like I'll be interested in watching this, but maybe it's just because it's not for me. No, it's not the case. Honestly, it's a factor where it's going to be very rare for this series to find anyone wanting to watch this series or even wanting to unironically enjoy it. And speaking of which, the poll that I have made on Twitch, apparently it's almost unanimous. With the exception of one voter, all of you have said, no, you are not going to be watching Good Times. So that'll be interesting. And I would love to know from the person who actually voted yes, I want to know why. Let's see, what else we got here? Okay, I am a brown guy, Muslim, and I am fine with any content when it comes to African American stories. But to be honest, I am not excited for this. Do we need another Family Guy? I am done with Seth MacFarlane's stuff, and it's better we see more original stories in adult animation like Mars Express, and not another Family Guy / Rick and Morty ripoff. Seth MacFarlane doesn't seem to understand the people of color and culture at all. Yeah, and you know, that's actually a funny thing that they mentioned in Double Toasted with the fact of Seth MacFarlane's involvement. It's like, come on, man, why'd you gotta mess with Good Times? Like, why don't you take All in the Family? Why don't you go and take that one? But yeah, but then again, keep in mind, like, this is not really Seth MacFarlane's show. Like, he is one of the executive producers, like, he is involved with it, but he should not be the one that should take all the blame in this. So I just want to let you know. Anyways, well, I myself am not familiar with Good Times, and even though I am a straight white male, this looks bad. The animation looks cheap, the characters are horribly represented, and it feels like an insult to black people. So overall, I'm not excited to see this. If I want great black representation in an animated series, I'll stick with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And it does bring up a good point. Like, why even have a project like this when there are others right now that do it way better, or at least in terms of black representation? Like, there's a part of me that's wondering, like, why should I watch this when we already have something like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, or even the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, who would also do a much better job in social commentary than what we are seeing in this trailer so far? Like, really, the best that it can go and offer is that, hey, we're going to supply, like, a bunch of projects jokes and a lot of boobs jokes, and we're going to have, like, a stupid, like, tiny diamond-like baby who is always horny and stuff like that. Nah, I don't think it's gonna work for me, and it's gonna be hard to find who would this work for. Let's see. I think I'll read one more comment before we go and move on to the next story. Let's see. Is there one that I haven't read yet, or have I read most of you all? Just want to be sure because. Okay, I think I'll go with All right, I'll go with this one. I haven't watched or heard anything about the original Good Time series, but after watching this trailer, yeesh, it is not very good. The animation is very choppy and the characters are stereotypical at best, and not gonna lie, people who go hard on the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder series should give that revival an apology. Overall, I might not give this a chance, although I really like that FBI agent scene. It's so bad, it's funny. Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna say, I think the only positive thing that I could really find from that trailer, it's the soundtrack. Like, I'll admit, that song that they were playing, that was pretty cool. The rest, no, it ain't. But anyways, once again, if you are morbidly curious to go and check out this, already hated reboot of Good Times, then keep in mind that the show will be released on April 12th on Netflix. And with that said, we're going to go on to our next break, and we're going to jump from one streaming service to another where they got a little bit of a controversy of their own because of that same old dang practice of just removing content one after another. Especially with this one, though, they're getting rid of some prominent and some beloved names as well, so stay tuned for that. All right, we're back, and I don't know, but I think I might have found the one person who actually voted yes that they want to go and watch Good Times. You know, not trying to slam them, no shaming or anything. I actually do find it very interesting because there's one additional comment that just came out of nowhere saying that, you know, they're being optimistic about this one. They claim to be black, so and the trailer did make them laugh, so honestly, no, good for you, man. Like, honestly, it's intriguing to see from these different perspectives, and I thought like it would be worth mentioning that, you know, it's not unanimously hated per se. But anyways, let's get back into what we are actually here to go and talk about with our next story. And we're jumping from one streaming service, from Netflix, to Paramount Plus. Because lately, oh boy, Paramount has been getting a lot of crap recently. You know, and some people have even mentioned how Paramount is seemingly being disrespectful to animation, especially with the fact that they have released one animated series just out of the blue, where it sounded like it would have been a major one that actually did include a pretty significant all-star cast in there, and they just stepped in and said, hey, just letting you know, we're going to be putting out a series based on Ark. Oh, really? Like the game? Yeah. Oh, cool. When is that coming out? Now. Just suddenly appeared. It's like, hey, look what's on Paramount Plus. Ta-da! Ark. You know, with no advertising or anything like that. So definitely an unconventional approach when it comes to presenting your animated content, especially when you don't provide advertising whatsoever. But that's not what we're here to go and talk about. What we are here to discuss is regarding not what's coming or what came to Paramount Plus, but what's coming out from Paramount Plus, what it's leaving in terms of the platform. And there's going to be a lot of animated content that will no longer be there. Specifically, some Nickelodeon content that will be completely removed. And I do have my list here from Deadline, in which they stated that the following animated content that they are going to be removing, or at least live action animation hybrids and stuff like that, or, you know, the best way to describe altogether, the Nickelodeon shows that they are going to be removing include Blue's Clues and You, the Are You Afraid of the Dark revival, It's Pony, Middlemost Post, Ollie's Pack, Ryan's Mystery Playdate, Santiago of the Seas, That Girl Lele, and a couple of Paramount exclusive shows like Big Nate and the Rugrats reboot. And the reason why they had to go and take them all out, of course, as you would expect, it's money. Money is the reason why they want to go and try to take it all out. Especially with the fact that they have been trying to go and really hype up on the fact that, you know, he's trying to go, or, sorry, lost my train of thought there. But it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that the reason why they want to go and try to remove the content, it's because of money. Because they've been trying to go and anticipate on the fact that there's going to be a day when Paramount Plus is actually going to become profitable for the company. That somehow Paramount Plus will eventually go and turn a profit. But when is that actually going to happen? Well, I don't know. But at this point, they want to try to go and encourage that by trying to really go and motivate that profitability by making some sacrifices. In here it states, in connection with our continued review of our international content strategy, during the first quarter of 2024, we made a strategic decision to focus on content with mass global appeal, the company said in its 10-K filing. As part of this, we are rationalizing original content on Paramount Plus, especially internationally, and improving the efficiency of our linear network programming. As a result, we have reviewed our expansive global content portfolio and are removing select content from our platforms. Paramount expects to recognize additional programming charges that we currently expect to be in the range of approximately $700 million to $900 million during the first quarter of 2024. So that's pretty much the big thing that is going on, and the big controversy that a lot of animation fans are massively upset about. The fact that Paramount Plus, they're doing the whole content cutting thing from their streaming platforms, very similarly to what Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney Plus, what they have been doing for a while now. Now it's going to be Paramount's turn, and they decided to cut down on a lot of animated content. And you may notice a little bit of a pattern where they're cutting down a lot of the recent works, because these are actually very recent recent shows that came out of Nickelodeon. Like the oldest that they have cut down are the ones that came out from 2019. So you got stuff like Blue's Clues and You, the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot, also Ryan's Mystery Playdate. And then you got the rest that came out either like in 2020, 2021, or in 2022. Most of which, well, technically the series have officially ended. You know, they're not making any more episodes, so for them it's not really that much of a sacrifice. But the real concern is actually in regards to the shows that are still going on. Especially when you have some that are major names, such as Blue's Clues and Rugrats. Some people have been speculating what is going on with those shows, and is it possible that maybe we could see a possible end to those runs, that whether it be the Rugrats remake or Blue's Clues and You, there will no longer be any more episodes. And what people have been speculating is that right now, those shows, they're going to be next in line to go on Nickelodeon's Green Mile that we know as Nicktoons. And whenever you see a show that suddenly they decided to go and make the move from their main platform to Nicktoons, that's when you know that, well, things are pretty much going to be over with those. And that's extremely shocking, especially when you have some that have some massive fanfare. And that is especially the case with the shows that I've been talking about, with stuff like Rugrats, or especially with Blue's Clues and You. And one thing that I want to go and ask, and I don't know if this might be a little bit of a hot take, but this is something that I am a little bit curious about, considering with this kind of move, and specifically with those shows in particular. Like, okay, it's one thing for Paramount Plus to go out of their way, and they decided to go and take down a whole bunch of shows that are from Nickelodeon. But if you are going to go and do that, why would you go after those shows and not the ones from Dan Schneider? I mean, we all know one of the hottest documentaries that we've got this year so far is Quiet on Set, which I've already talked about this on this podcast. You know, I've already expressed my thoughts on that, and even some of the recent controversies that came with it, which, by the way, they did recently announce they're going to do a 5th episode in which they're going to update some stuff, as well as having some of the people that they have interviewed, like some of the former child stars, like from all that and stuff like that, that they will come together and have a discussion about their experiences and how was their life afterwards and how things have been since the documentary came out. So just want to go and quickly mention that. But what I'm wondering is, why, considering that Nickelodeon has been in hot water, especially in terms of their empty response to the documentary, why don't you go and just remove the content from Paramount Plus? Why don't you go in and remove the Dan Schneider shows like All That, The Amanda Show, Zoe 101, iCarly, Sam and Cat, and some others, considering that now there's been a lot of drama that's related to those shows, especially with what happened behind the scenes that are really unappealing, and sometimes they can go into some really dangerous territories right there. Like, why are you sitting there, like, still trying to capitalize on those shows when a lot of what happened behind the scenes have been exposed and has been pretty dark, down to the point where, like, rewatching those shows for many people have been extremely difficult? Why don't you go and take those down so that you can save your money if you want to really go into that strategy? But we all know why they wouldn't go and do so, and that's because of money. Even the documentary acknowledges that some of these series, especially like with iCarly, they're still very popular on streaming. They're still like one of the hottest shows that you could find in stuff like Paramount Plus and in some other platforms as well, like Netflix. Paramount wouldn't want to go and try to take those content out in solidarity with the victims of those shows. They wouldn't want to go and do that because so far they've been making a profit for them. And right now, Paramount is just in the focus of trying to make as money as possible because they've been failing and failing pretty hard, to the point that the speculations of them either being completely bought out or merged with another company, it is still alive and well. So in that regard, it kind of leaves a bit of a bad taste. And like, maybe I could totally be wrong, and maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to go and remove those to remove those shows from Paramount Plus and stuff like that. Maybe there could be a reason that I'm honestly forgetting why not to do that. But still, though, it kind of feels like, why are you doing nothing about any of the shows that Dan Schneider worked on and made an entire nightmare of a work environment when producing those shows? And instead, you just want to focus on Blue's Clues. Whoops. Oh, there it is. Okay, for a moment I was wondering, it was like, oh crap, the screen went black. What happened? No, okay, but like, stuff like Blue's Clues or Rugrats or what have you, like, why would you go and remove those shows? And I know a lot of people are pretty much upset or are concerned, what is going to be the fate of them? Does that, like, now the fact that these shows are removed from Paramount Plus, does that mean we are going to see the end of stuff like Blue's Clues and You, or Rugrats, or Big Nate, or Ollie's Pack, and all that kind of stuff? Are those shows going to be over? Well, honestly, the only thing I could say is, not really. I'm not 100% sure. I cannot necessarily confirm that, but one show that I know is still going to be going even after all this occurred is actually going to be Rugrats. Because I did hear, and this is a post made by Jerry Beck I saw on Facebook, he actually confirmed that the Rugrats series, or at least the Rugrats reboot, the cast actually recently finished doing all of their recordings, all of their lines are done, and now they're going to move forward with the animation, and the production shall continue on the new series of the Rugrats reboot. And I think it's safe to say that we could definitely trust Jerry Beck's word on it, considering that he is, not only, like, one of the most prominent animation historians out there, but he is married to Cheryl Chase, whom you may know as the voice of Angelica, not just in the original series, but also in this new reboot as well. So I'll definitely take his word for it on that. But yeah, like, that, at least that is the case with the Rugrats. Rather, if they got plans to go and continue stuff like Blue's Clues and You or Big Nate, that is one that I don't know if I can fully confirm on. Maybe they will. Apparently, I just saw in the chat wall, they did state there is a confirmation for Blue's Clues and You will have one more season. Now, I don't know if it's just one more season and that's it, but at least there is going to be a bit more content that will be coming from Blue's Clues and You. So at least in terms of the biggest shows, like from the biggest franchises from that list that has been removed, at least there is going to be a bit of a continuation on that. But still, though, I do understand the frustration that animation fans have been feeling in terms of this news right over here, because it's never fun when you hear about a streaming platform that decided that they're going to go and completely remove content again and again and again just to go and save up money. I know for a fact that Paramount Plus is not the first one to go and do it, nor they will be the last one to go and do it. Unfortunately, it has become a bit of a common practice for, like I said before, for other platforms such as Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max, for Disney Plus, like for all of them, that they would go and do so by taking out content and putting in some new ones again and again and again. It happens many, many times. So in that regard, yeah, like I understand the frustration is alive and well, and especially the fact that most of these, or technically just about all of them, these are animated content. Like these are animated shows that, you know, like even though like maybe they didn't necessarily last long, but like they still have their fans. They still have an audience that wants to go and watch these shows. And the fact that they decided to go and completely take them out from Paramount Plus, especially those that were exclusive to Paramount Plus, it's like at this point you're kind of encouraging audiences to go and pirate content. Like, how else are they gonna, how else are they gonna go and watch something like It's Pony or Middlemost Post or Big Nate? I mean, it's not like they actually released a DVD of those shows or anything like that. So at that point, they gotta go and, bring up the old torrent and just go and download them. Like that's pretty much the only way. If you're not going to be offering them, rather it be on Paramount Plus, or I know for a fact they ain't going to do so on Nickelodeon. They're not going to do it on that channel, considering that they're reverting back to their old habits of just showing, become a 24/7 SpongeBob station with maybe a little bit of Loud House. It's at the point where it's like, well, where else can you find this show? It's honestly ridiculous. So yeah, I get the frustration. Like, there is a bit of a silver lining that some of these shows are still going to be continuing, like Rugrats and Blue's Clues and You, but still, it's kind of, it really sucks when it happens, because it does reach a certain point where you have to ask, like, what are you even paying for that streaming service if they're just going to go and do that again and again of just taking away content that you're interested in watching? There's a bit of there's a bit of a factor where it can feel a little bit ridiculous, and you feel like you keep getting screwed over as a customer. So I just want to go and put out my thoughts on that. All right, so anyways, I would like to go now into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you all think about the entire controversy with Paramount Plus removing a whole bunch of Disney content? I would love to know your opinion on this. And I know some people are saying that, well, technically it's not HBO Max, but it's actually just Max. Yeah, but, HBO Max and then just Max, one is the former is definitely better than what we have now. It's like Twitter and then there's X. I mean, you don't want to be that guy who would call it X. There's a reason why most people still call it Twitter, because Twitter is objectively a better name than X. All right, but anyways, let's see what we got here. When I first saw this report, I assume this was them doing damage control after Quiet on Set. But even that assumption was pretty flimsy, considering they took down the newer stuff. But nah, it's just a money issue. But my big question is, with all the things happening, what's going to happen to Nickelodeon? I mean, there's only so long they can rely on SpongeBob. And yeah, honestly, I do understand what you mean. Like, I do get what, like, there is a bit of a concern about what's going to be happening in Nickelodeon's future. And in that regard, I personally feel like we need to go and wait and see with what's going to be happening with Paramount's future, because I feel like that one is a much bigger question, and one that I feel like it seems like a bit of a mystery, especially when business has been going so badly for them. And again, those rumors of a possible merger or acquisition might be going on. I think first and foremost, we need to go and see with what's going to happen with Paramount, and then we will go and shift our focus onto what's going to happen to Nickelodeon from there. All right, let's see what else we got. This is honestly really upsetting. Just seeing these shows being removed, including some of which are a part of Nickelodeon's biggest franchises, even though some of them are accessible in other ways, it's upsetting. Also, my theory is that they did this because of damage control, considering Nickelodeon has been hit hard because of the Quiet on Set documentary. Nah. This is more money than anything. I don't think this really has to do anything with the Quiet on Set drama. I don't think it's really because of that. Even without Quiet on Set, Paramount still has some serious financial issues. If they would have done some legitimate damage control, then they would have done something in terms of the Dan Schneider content. Let's see now. I'm going to ask Paramount the same question I asked to Warner Brothers. Why do you even have a streaming service if you keep removing stuff from it? Disney Plus content purge seems conservative compared to the cullings Warner Brothers and Paramount have been doing. Aside from pre-movie SpongeBob and maybe the South Park specials, what does Paramount Plus even have for their subscribers once they remove their non-SpongeBob Nickelodeon stuff? The best that I could say, honestly, maybe the Halo series, and if you're not interested in that, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog. I know there's still that Knuckles series that's going to be coming soon, but that's my best guess. Other than that, who the fridge knows? Alright, anyways, what other comments do we have here? With how much Paramount has been in financial trouble, I'm not exactly surprised they would resort to stuff like this. It still sucks, but what do you expect when you have a company that is purely focusing on money? Also, in the midst of all this controversy with big entertainment companies taking stuff off of their streaming platforms, it just makes Sony look better by comparison. Say what you will about them, but at least they can't resort to something like this. Well, then again, with Sony Pictures, they cannot do that because they don't even have their own platform. They're sticking with the strategy of just selling their content to other streaming platforms to go and present them. Rather it be on Netflix or on Disney Plus, which honestly, I feel like it should be pretty soon that they're going to be releasing some of their classic works. You're going to see stuff like Jumanji, Ghostbusters, Hotel Transylvania. One day it's going to happen. Suddenly they're going to migrate over to Disney Plus. I don't know when that's going to happen specifically, but I feel like that might be something that will be soon. But anyways, let's see what else we got here. Man, this month has not been great for Paramount. From their $1 billion in debt to SpongeBob taking control of all of its scheduled program to the recent documentary on Quiet on Set, and now this content purge. Man, they're in the PR nightmare. I think it's safe to say that Nickelodeon as a company is pretty much dead. Again, I cannot go and confirm that right now. I don't know if that truly is the case. Again, I feel like we're going to have to wait and see with what's going to happen with the future of Paramount before we could go and question the future of Nickelodeon. Anyways, any other comments that would be worth reading? Just want to see here. Wow. Paramount is doing a terrible job of keeping their company in business. I'm glad that Blue's Clues is back to its fame, but I hate to see Blue's Clues and You being removed from Paramount Plus, even though I never watched it. And I used to love reading the Big Nate comics, but never really cared about the show. However, it's sad to see all these shows being removed because, in the words of Mr. Krabs, money! But I hope there's a light at the end of the tunnel for these shows. Again, there is a little bit. Some of them that are still ongoing, it looks like they're going to have some new episodes, like the Rugrats reboot and Blue's Clues and You. It's just, whenever these things do happen, it still sucks when they do. So I understand the feelings on that. All right, I think I'm going to read one more comment before we go and, or actually 2 more comments before we jump on to our next break. Anyways, it's very heartbreaking when I first heard about it. Between The Purge and the Quiet on Set docuseries, it's really depressing to see Nickelodeon being dead in the water. I haven't watched the shows mentioned, but it's a big slap to the face that you remove them, especially that the people that worked on those shows give a lot of love when making them. And I will say, I'm just happy that I don't grow up watching the Dan Schneider shows. I'm more of a Nick Jr. person during my youth. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I do understand. Like, I'm someone who actually did grew up with stuff like The Amanda Show and all that, and watching Quiet on Set really did feel like a massive gut punch. But then again, I wouldn't say that Nick Jr. is all that innocent. You cannot say that about a channel that hosted Little Bill. I'm just saying. Alright, anyways, with how much Paramount has been in... Oh, no, I actually did read that. What the fridge? Hold on. Would there be any others? Okay, I think I'll go with this one. Actually, I haven't read that one. God, I'm not even interested in most of the shows except for the Rugrats reboot, but it's just frustrating to see streaming services taking their executives off the service. Honestly, at this point, they might as well just stop making content if they don't waste money. Making and keeping an exclusive. Creators deserve better than just making their vision and not being able to complete it. I'm not surprised the Dan Schneider shows aren't being taken off the service. It's a business decision. Exactly. It's, really it's at the point where it's becoming more and more clear that there is a definitive line between morality and business practices. And sometimes these two do not connect together. They're like polar opposite magnets where they just flat out refuse to connect. And that's why you would see Paramount in massive trouble for a variety of reasons. Alright, so with that said, we're going to go on to our next break. And don't you worry, I know things have been a little bit negative with the Paramount news and with what we have seen with Good Times. But don't worry, things will go and pick things up from here. Starting with a surprise new sequel where many fan favorites are going to be coming back. Or at least our favorite former villains. So stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. Now, on our next story, we are going to go and lift up the mood, where we are going to go back to how we felt when we first watched Mars Express, and we're going to be excited for what is to come, especially with this one right over here. Now, you may remember back in 2022 when we had a little bit of a quick renaissance of DreamWorks Animation, where suddenly they were putting out some of the biggest fan favorites of that year in terms of animated features, with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and The Bad Guys. Very unexpected that suddenly they would come out with something that got a lot of fanfare and something that really got a lot of audiences very excited to go and check out. But it looks like, well, at least for one of them, we are definitely going to be getting an encore. And man, I feel like I am excited to see them back. So let's go and talk about The Bad Guys 2. Yes, DreamWorks Animation has officially confirmed that they are working on a sequel to their 2022 hit, The Bad Guys. And not only that, but they've also revealed a whole bunch of info regarding the movie, or at least some of the main info, not literally everything. What we do know is who's going to be working on it and who is involved. We know a little bit of the plot, and we know the release date, which is going to be sooner than you may actually think. And just to go and read you once again from my source on Deadline, the plot that they have for this movie, it states, The Bad Guys 2 follows the crackerjack criminal crew of animal outlaws who are struggling to find trust and acceptance in their newly minted lives as good guys. However, they're pulled out of retirement and forced to do one last job by an all-female squad of criminals. And on top of that, they have confirmed that many of the original people, both the cast and crew from the first feature, they are indeed coming back. So we got a confirmation that for the cast, the main bad guys, they are indeed returning, including Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, and Aquafina, as well as Zazie Beetz playing the fan favorite femme fatale Diana Foxington. Does Diana count as a femme fatale? I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people they have a crush on Diana, so maybe. Anyways, there is also Richard Ayoade, who's going to be coming back as Professor Marmalade. And you also got Alex Borstein coming back as Police Chief Misty Luggins and Lily Singh as Tiffany Fluffit. And in terms of the crew that we got, Pierre Perifel will be coming back as the director, as well as Damon Ross, who's going to be a producer. Also, you do have Daniel Pemberton, who's going to be coming back to do the score. And you have the head of character animation, JP Sands, who will now get a bit of an upgrade by being the co-director of the movie. And yes, we do know when this is going to be coming out. It's not going to be soon, but it is going to be sooner than you may think, as this is going to be coming out on August 1st of next year. So it will be about just like under a year and a half. So you're not going to wait too long for this. So yeah, I just want to go and start off by saying that honestly, I am definitely a fan of the bad guys. I wouldn't say that I love it. I wouldn't say that, like, it's one of the best DreamWorks movies out there. It's, like, the best, like, among one of the better ones that they have put out in a long time. But I will admit there was a part of me that was very disappointed how the story itself was not really all that great. And it was a bit frustrating as well, because every single thing that this movie would do, they nailed it perfectly. I love the animation. I love the characters. I love the comedy. I love the dynamic that each of the bad guys have with one another. I love the heart of it. I love the acting. Honestly, if the story would have been a lot better, if it would have been more engaging, more unpredictable and stuff like that, we would have had, like, easily one of the best animated movies of the decade. So yeah, honestly, even though I have my criticisms about it, I still love this movie. Like, it definitely is awesome. And honestly, it should come with no surprise that with a movie that has gathered such fanfare, that they would go and immediately create a sequel. I honestly don't see why not. Why not have, like, another round with these characters? Now, I will say that there is one thing that, honestly, I do question a little bit from this whole announcement, and that is in regards to the idea of what they have with the plot line, where the bad guys have to do one last job where, they kind of got out of being bad guys, but now they gotta go back to becoming bad guys. I don't know about you, but I feel like, considering that now that we are seeing former villains as protagonists, that it's becoming more and more of a thing, or at least, like, stories about bad guys who turn into good guys, like, it's becoming a lot more common. And when we see that they would go and do a sequel or something, or if they would have a follow-up story, like, it feels like it's kind of a common route that they would have to do that one last job as a bad guy. Like, we've seen it with Despicable Me 3, for example, when Gru's long-lost brother Drew wants to get into the villain business and asks for the help of Gru. Or, we even saw recently a little bit of that with Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, where now that Megamind is a good guy, but still has to pretend to be a bad guy to his former buddies with the Doom Syndicate. I mean, say what you will about Ralph Breaks the Internet, but you gotta give it credit that at least it didn't really go into that direction, and it tries to be a little bit of its own thing. I mean, in a way, Ralph kind of did go back to being the bad guy, but not necessarily on purpose. It's more because of his dependency on the friendship of Vanellope. So there is that factor I just want to go into quickly mention. So how that plot line is going to be handled here with the bad guys, now they are going to be doing the same thing, you know, that they're going to be doing a little bit of the same thing here. Honestly, it's like we're gonna have to go and wait and see. Honestly, that's gonna be the one thing that I do question. But then again, there is one thing that I will say is going to be more optimistic, and a part of me is also very excited for it. I am hoping that with this, that they are going to continue that golden tradition that DreamWorks Animation has. The fact that when they would go and release their second film, they would usually come out as one of the best movies from the studio. I don't know if I would say that this is a tradition or that, oh, this often, you know, this usually happens or that's the thing with DreamWorks Animation, but it's just, it coincidentally seems to fall into that. That whenever DreamWorks would go and make a second installment of one of their movies, they usually come out to be not just the best of the franchise, but some of their best films. I feel like, at least in my opinion, that is definitely the case with Shrek 2, with Kung Fu Panda 2, with How to Train Your Dragon 2, and even just recently with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And I know there were some that, honestly, it's debatable if they're even better than the first. Like, I don't know about Madagascar, Escape to Africa, or the Crew, you know, like with that second Cruise movie. But then again, I would say that for even for their weaker franchises, their second film usually turns out to be the best one so far. Like the Boss Baby Family Business, definitely an improvement from the first one. I mean, it goes a little too chaotic, but then again, at least that is something of value, more so than what you would get in the first film. And even with Trolls, honestly, I'm not a fan of the Trolls movies, but that second film, Trolls World Tour, I gotta admit, it's decent, and I love the world building that they have built upon that. So that's why I want to say that with DreamWorks Animation, usually with their number 2 films, they usually turn out to be absolutely amazing. And I am hoping that maybe this is the case with the bad guys. That maybe they'll bring back those elements with what has worked with the first bad guys, but they're going to go and improve upon some of those mistakes. I know that I was a little bit critical with what I've mentioned about what I think about the plot line with the what they have in store with that One Last Job thing, but who knows? Maybe they can go and turn things around and it could actually work out so beautifully. It could actually work out very, very well where the quality of the storytelling could actually match up with the rest of it to turn out to be not just an amazing feature, but maybe one of the best animated movies that we will have in that year. Is that going to be the case? That I don't know. We will have to wait and see. And I know there's not necessarily a whole lot of info that we got here, but so far, I'm going to say, with the fact that they are going to go and make a Bad Guys 2, and they've already revealed a bunch of stuff that they already got a lot of the original cast and crew, that they are going to be coming back, ensuring that the spirit of the Bad Guys, what we got with the first film, will still be intact. The fact that we are going to be getting it pretty soon, honestly, there a lot of these, I'm like, I'm just full on optimistic. I wouldn't even say cautiously I wouldn't even say cautiously optimistic. I'm just full on optimistic. I feel like there's a very high chance this is going to be another great time, and that honestly, the only thing that I can hope for is that whatever flaws that I find that are in the first film, that they will be improved upon, and we could have something that could go from like really good to absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. And if you are excited as well for The Bad Guys 2, then keep in mind that the movie will be coming out on August 1st of 2025. So with that said, I'd like to go into the chat wall and I'd like to ask you all, are you all excited for The Bad Guys 2? Or are you more concerned about a sequel for The Bad Guys 2? I would love to know what you all think of this, including your opinion on the first feature. Okay, so let's see what we got here. The Bad Guys was a fun movie and had a blast with the action, comedy, and characters. Honestly, I'm interested in the sequel. However, I'm concerned about production and release date. It's supposed to come out next year. The first movie came out in 2022. It feels like that was enough time, or that they were working on the sequel simultaneously with the first, that it was being animated. However, knowing this will be animated by Sony ImageWorks, that could explain the rush production. Yeah, that is true. And I mean, it wasn't that long ago that they did sign that deal with Sony ImageWorks so that they would go and make the movies. And it is true that right now this is going to be a production where Sony ImageWorks is going to be doing the animation on this. Oh boy, I would say, yeah. And I mean, technically you could say that maybe they did start production straight after the first Bad Guys and giving them over 3 years to work on the production, which, is a decent amount of time to go and create an animated feature. Maybe that could be the case, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping at least the production, hopefully the production is not too rushed, that hopefully the crew will have their act together in order to go and create a proper story for this. It's just, I don't know. You do bring up one thing that it is concerning, but still, though, I at least for my own sake, I want to remain optimistic about what we're gonna have with this. Anyways, as someone who really loves the original Bad Guys and consider it one of DreamWorks animated DreamWorks animated films in recent years, or I think you mean one of their best, because just saying that it is one of their animated films of recent years, it's yep, it sure is one of their films they recently put out. I'm just joking around. I'm very excited for this. I could see how the story could work, and I'm really excited to see the new characters they introduce. So I'm very excited. Also, how much you want to bet anti-woke dweebs are going to get triggered over having an all-female group? Well, I mean, just having females in general, they're just going to go and freak out. Unless they would use that as sex material, because you know how much these anti-woke guys, that they love objectifying women, and who knows, we've seen the way that Diana Foxington, how she's definitely been the subject of a lot of furry bait. So you never know what these other girls may offer as well. We'll just have to wait and see on that. Let's see now. I am pretty sure that the sequel will probably be good or better than the original, as DreamWorks has a history of making great sequels like Kung Fu Panda 2, Madagascar 3, Shrek 2, and Puss in Boots 2. A bit off topic to Pixar here, but I am one of the few people who thinks Cars 2 is a great movie. One notable person who agrees is the late and great Roger Ebert. Yeah, I mean, you go, dude. I mean, if you love Cars 2, then please enjoy it as much as you want. It's your it's your movie. Some people might not agree with you, but I mean, hey, who doesn't have an opinion on movies that not everyone else would go freaking agree upon? So, I mean, if you enjoy Cars 2, that is awesome. Go nuts with it. It's your movie. Have as much fun as you can, and ignore the haters. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. What other comments? To quote Peter Griffin, I am so effing ready. Jumps through the roof. Ever since I saw it back in 2022, The Bad Guys has become one of my favorite DreamWorks movies, and to hear that follow-up is coming next year makes me want to, well, jump through a roof. You bet your rear that this is my most anticipated movie of next year. Also, the fact that we're gonna get more of Diane is enough to make me go, awooga! But you know what I find to be very interesting, though? Is that now, on that particular year, we are going to see a little bit of an animated matchup. Because keep in mind, this is not going to be the only animated sequel that furries absolutely adore that we are going to get. Because not only are we going to get The Bad Guys 2 in 2025, but we are also getting Zootopia 2. And not to mention that we also, in that movie as well, also has a fox character that furry fans absolutely adore. So I thought it would also be worth mentioning that, I just thought of this now. It's we're getting another one of those fascinating coincidences. That now we're getting The Bad Guys 2, and we're getting Zootopia 2. I don't know why my mind was going elsewhere, but hey, at least I got it now. All right, anyways, let's see what we got. When a DreamWorks sequel is announced, the cartoon community will go crazy for it, and not calling it unnecessary. But when Disney Animation announced their sequel, cartoon fans will immediately start an angry mob over it and call it unnecessary. How dare they want to do more with their characters? Anyways, I can't wait to check out The Bad Guys 2. I hope it won't be a disappointment and at least be fun. Hey, I mean, like, I just want to state, I know I have my criticisms with it, but that doesn't mean that I was full on disappointed. You know, I'm not calling The Bad Guys a disappointment. It's just one of those things, like, I was disappointed that it wasn't a perfect movie, considering that most of the things that it offers is a perfect movie. So I just want to make that clarification right there. Anyways, The Bad Guys is definitely one of DreamWorks' most underrated movies, so a sequel definitely seems right up my alley. Though with the story, I'll admit that the plotline does sound a little predictable, but then again, DreamWorks' track record with second installments is fantastic, if you ignore Spirit Untamed. My one big ask is, though, give this one a better, less predictable villain. Yeah, that is true. Well, okay, I'm just gonna state this right now. I don't think I can count Spirit Untamed as a sequel. You know, it's not really a sequel to the Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. You know, it's more of a it's more of a film version of the TV show that they have gotten. It's more like it's not that connected like it's a freaking sequel. And I will say, yeah, like if you're gonna have a villain, please be better than Professor Marmalade. I mean, that plot twist villain was just so bad. Even the Disney plot twist villains are like, they saw Professor Marmalade and they just went, ooh, that ain't it, Chief. You know, it's like that bad. Anyways, I'll read one more before we go into our final break. As a fan of the first Bad Guys film, I am excited for this movie, and the idea to see Best Girl Diane Foxington on the big screen is appreciated. Also, they announced that there are new female characters in this upcoming sequel, and I know some furry friends are excited to see them. To quote Paul Revere, "The horny is coming! The horny is coming!" Oh, I'm sure, in 2025, for both Zootopia 2 and The Bad Guys 2, you're gonna see a lot of NSFW artists. Like, they got their pens ready. It was like, hold on. We got a trailer? We got a trailer? Ready, the boards? And go! You know, they're gonna be prepped up for that. But yes, once again, if you are all excited for The Bad Guys 2, then keep in mind that it will be coming out on August 1st of next year. All right, so now we're gonna go into one more break, and when we do come back, we got another DreamWorks project that's going to be coming soon in 2025, but not on the big screen. This is something that you will be experiencing, so stay tuned for this epic finale. And now, folks... Oh, son of a fish. Oh, I gotta keep... crap. Great, now my soundboard is out. I gotta go and fix that. Yeah, when my computer, bugged out and, I had to go and change everything, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, even the soundboard needs, something to go and fix up, so, yeah. Oh, my God, this stupid... Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the update that my computer had. It's just... Oh, my God. It's why is it giving... why did you give me an update that gives me more problems than something that makes it more efficient on the software? But anyways, folks, yes, we have the grand finale. And for this finale, we are going to be going from the big screen to theme parks, as we got a very significant update in terms of the Epic Universe. So you guys all recall about Universal Orlando revealed that they are going to have their big third theme park called Epic Universe, in which it will be this entire unique land that will be divided into 4 different worlds. We already know which ones they are, including How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo World, another Harry Potter area, and the Dark Universe. Well, very recently, Universal has actually revealed a whole bunch of brand new information in terms of one of these worlds and showing us what it will be in store. And oh boy, already just from the concept art, they look beautiful. So let's go and talk about the upcoming world from Epic Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Yes, Universal has officially, well, like I said before, Universal Studios has officially revealed that for one of the worlds of Epic Universe, they presented the details of what's going to be in store for the How to Train Your Dragon section called How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. And not only have they revealed an entire set of concept art and images of like what's going to be happening in there, but they've also revealed all the different attractions that will be in store. And once again, I got my source here from Deadline, revealing the entire list of what's going to be within the Isle of Berk. And the attractions that they have include Hiccup's Wing Gliders, a family thrill coaster wherein Hiccup invites brave new Vikings to take a ride on his latest glider contraption, a winged flying machine that launches aspiring dragon riders into the sky for a dragon's eye view of Berk. Guests will fly alongside Hiccup and Toothless and reach speeds up to 45 miles an hour as they soar around the perimeter of Berk and even through a lagoon, while experiencing firsthand what it's like to fly a dragon. Then another thing they got is going to be called the Untrainable Dragon, which is based on, which it says here actually, inspired by Universal Beijing Resort's popular Untrainable show. This dragon-filled live spectacular takes guests on a journey with Hiccup, Toothless, Gobber, and Astrid as they work together to solve the mystery of the Untrainable Dragon. The story includes musical numbers, purpose-built sets, and life-size dragons soaring overhead. And this is actually one that you can actually get a preview of what it is. Like, you go on YouTube, you can look up Untrainable in Universal Beijing, and they will show you the show. And they will even show you the parts where Hiccup actually he hops on Toothless and they fly like over the audience. So they would go and like make that truly spectacular and even immersive to the point where it's like almost interactive even. Then anyways, going back over here, another ride they got is called Fire Drill. Mischievous Viking twins, Rough Nut and Tough Nut, invite teams of Vikings to compete to outscore and outsoak each other in this wet and wild boat battle. Guests will board on a colorful dragon-headed boat and blast water cannons and flame-like targets to practice putting out fires, a crucial skill to master when living with dragons. Then afterwards, they got, this is going to be one of their bigger thrill rides, Dragon Racers Rally. Berk's new Viking racers can practice aerobatic maneuvers and high-speed barrel rolls on two Viking-made dragon riding trainers that reach heights of up to 67 feet in the air. Guests can control how wild or mild their experience will be as they perform their high-flying, gravity-defying, swooping and soaring maneuvers that are necessary to earn the accolades of becoming a champion dragon racer. Then following that, there is the Viking Training Camp. Junior Vikings can learn about dragons as they climb, slide, and explore their way through the sprawling interactive adventure play camp featuring a Viking agility course, a Toothless-themed teeter-totter, baby Grunkle dragon climbers, and more. And finally, there is also a section where you can actually go and meet Hiccup and Toothless. Guests can visit the Haddock Paddock for a meet and greet experience with heroic dragon rider Hiccup and pose for a photo with his friendly Night Fury Toothless. And throughout the day, guests may also encounter other familiar Vikings and dragons while exploring Berk. And on top of that, not only do we have like all this description that we got, but even a whole lot of pictures of what will be in store. In fact, on this article here from allears.net, not only do they have photos of what is in store, like what they presented in the concept art, but a lot of aerial view shots in terms of what is the current progress in terms of the construction of Isle of Berk. So just go a little bit down here, and they even even Universal did put out a video that previews what Isle of Berk is going to look like. But anyways, so as you probably have seen before, this is going to be the big entrance with one of the big spires that will transport you into that world. But then here is what it looks like in real life so far. So you got the main entrance right over here, and then of course you got the two statues of Berk that you would see in the movie. So you do have that. But then here's the concept art for one of the attractions. Specifically, this one is Hiccup's Wing Glider. Or is that what it's called? Just want to go and just want to double check. Yeah, it's yeah. So this is the concept for Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and like you go through the lagoon right over here, and like even a little shot where people can go and check it out. And here's the construction. Here you got here's what they're building so far, and here you got the tracks of where you're going to traverse in Hiccup's Wing Glider. Then you got this one right over here. This is a concept art of Fire Drill, where you see the guests, they're on a boat and they're just squirting out water to go and hit the targets. I don't know if there's going to be like a score system. I don't know if it's going to be something that is similar to, what was it? That it would be similar to like Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, where they're going to go and keep score, and then like, you'll tally up the ranks and you'll see like, oh, you're like a super Viking, or you're still like a rookie or something like that. Maybe they'll have that. And, oh, here we have an aerial view of what is in store for Dragon's Racer Rally. So here we got a good look of the seats of the vehicles that you're going to be in. And here is what it looks like, this crazy ride. Like, not only is it going to like really spin you around, but you also got control if you want to spin around extra. So this is going to be something that I think it's one of those that you should not have a meal before jumping onto this attraction. I'm just saying. Then, of course, you do got the concept of the show, the Untrainable Dragon, in which you do see a bunch of other dragons that will show up. Like you know, like you got Toothless, you got some of the others, like you got Astrid's dragon with Astrid right there. You got Hiccup's mom's dragon that is also present. So like you'll see many of the prominent characters from the movies that they will be coming to life, and and like you will see some flying dragons on board. And then of course apparently this is the area where you will see, this is where they're going to go and build the theater for the Untrainable Dragon. And then and then right over here you got the Viking training camp, which is basically a full-on play area. That is just going to be like a full-on jungle gym, a playground for kids to go and run around, like disperse some of their energy. And then there's also a restaurant. Now, I forgot to go and mention this, but this is apparently the restaurant in How to Train Your Dragon called Mead Hall, which is going to be a very massive area in which you will go and have some Viking-themed foods while surrounded by the massive decor that they'll have all around, like this big Berk-inspired area. And of course, once again, you got the a good aerial shot of these two, of the big two Berk statues. And I believe that is all. Oh yeah, well, okay. They do have some other pictures, like they got they're showing us, I believe this is the popcorn bucket of Toothless with abnormally gigantic eyes, like almost out of character giant eyes. And yeah, apparently this is all the photos that they are showing so far. But holy crap, like just looking at everything that they are offering in the Isle of Berk, like this might as well be just an entire theme park in itself. Like if Universal would just announce that, this is going to be their third, this is going to be the third gate. It's just all How to Train Your Dragon stuff, and it's just all that. like, honestly, I would be sold. Like, already this thing looks massively incredible, and even the rides that they are bringing up, like, honestly, they sound very solid. Like, some of my personal favorites that I feel like I'm anticipated for, I would say, like, the one that I'm the most excited to go and check out myself would be Hiccup's Wing Gliders and the Untrainable Dragon Show. Like, I would be down to see, like, how, you know, like, it's one thing to go and watch it on YouTube with the Beijing version, but I want to see how it is, like, I want to see how it is, like, to see it with my own eyes. Like, I would be so down for that. And I know maybe I know a lot of people will probably be excited also for Dragon's Racers Rally, but one thing I will confess is that I'm not really a big fan of, like, major roller coasters. Like, I could do some, like, even last year's trip to Disney World. Like, I've enjoyed a lot of the coasters that I was actually in. Like, I enjoyed Big Thunder, I enjoyed the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I did, and I also really liked the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. Like, that one was really awesome too. But yeah, I also did Space Mountain. Like, that one might be like maybe one step too intense for me, but still though, like, I am training myself to get into more to more rides and a bit more intense rides. But I'm not like a full-on thrill junkie where, like, I'm just gonna go on to the next big crazy roller coaster and just ride that. Oh, Tron! Oh my god, how can I forget about Tron? Oh my god, yes, of course. Tron, oh my god, that Tron Light Cycle run, like, easily one of the best new rides at Disney World. Like, that was fantastic. That was an amazing ride. Honestly, I would even say my favorite new ride at Disney World. It is that phenomenal. But yeah, anyways, all this to say that I understand why a lot of people are going to be excited for Dragon's Racers Rally. Maybe I'm not one of them. I'm not into those rides, especially like those big arms that, like, you know, that they go like 360 and like they bring you on board and like you got extra spinnies inside. Like, that thing is just a little, yeah, that thing might be a little bit much. But no, still though, I will say, even in terms of the construction that they have on board, even the stuff that, like, what's currently being built so far, it looks like what we see from the concept art, it will be easily brought to life here, and I am so that it's gonna be amazing. And especially as someone who is a fan of the How to Train Your Dragon films, I absolutely cannot wait. And I think in terms of, like, what can you do to bring How to Train Your Dragon to a theme park, I think this is the best answer. Like, yeah, it's one thing to go and make a How to Train Your Dragon ride, but to make a whole How to Train Your Dragon land, especially with how big the whole franchise has become, I think honestly that would make perfect sense. And yeah, just seeing everything that is being built, the way that they're staying true to their promise, and especially with the quality that Universal Orlando was often known for. Like, when they can make a good ride, they can make an amazing ride. I know they got a lot of duds, especially the infamous Fast and Furious ride, but no, when they're good, they're amazing. And I think what they've recently done with what they've done with Super Nintendo World in Hollywood and in Japan, I think that really does speak for itself. So honestly, with all that, I am definitely excited. I'm absolutely excited to see what they have in store. A lot of these are it's very promising with what they're showing both in the concept art and in terms of the construction with what they have in store with all the attractions that they have. I could just imagine how the immersiveness is going to be fantastic. So yeah, honestly, I don't know what else to say, but I'm absolutely excited for this. I don't think they've confirmed when this is going to be opening. They did state that it's gonna be for 2025 that they're gonna go and fully open up Epic Universe, but like, we know that with One by One, they will be revealing what's going to be in store for some of them. And so far, we know about their main hub with Celestial Park, and now we know a lot about the Isle of Berk, and now we just need to know what's going to be in store with the other Harry Potter world and with Dark Universe. I mean, maybe they'll talk eventually they'll bring up they'll bring up Super Nintendo World, but then again, I mean, like what we got in Hollywood and in Tokyo, it's going to be the same thing with what they're going to do in Orlando. I don't know if there's going to be that much of a difference, unless they would go and specify some new exclusive things, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, I'm definitely hyped up for this. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, what do you all think about what we have seen with the current construction and with the concept art of How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk? Are you excited to go and check out what is going to be in store with these attractions? Let me know what you all think on this. All right, so let's see. So far with the stuff they revealed for Isle of Berk, they seem extremely promising. It really does feel like people will be able to step into the world of Berk, and this really feels like just a taste of what is to come for the rest of the Epic universe. And I think Disney is going to have to pull out all the stops at D23 this year. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, with what Disney, honestly, compared to how Disney has been doing, or at least in terms of like what they are offering in terms of their theme parks, yeah, so far Universal, like, I hate to say it, but Universal is definitely kicking Disney's ass in terms of the theme park stuff. Like, no joke. Like, on the day of when Universal revealed all these things about what is to come with How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, Disney decided to step in and it's like, we got some announcements too. We got a new bus. Do you want to see the new bus? It's got Ratatouille. It's got Zootopia. It's got the Orange Bird. Who wants to ride the bus? Yeah. So yeah, honestly, yeah. I think really with what's going on with Epic Universe, Disney needs to have a phenomenal presentation at D23 for what lies in store at Walt Disney World specifically, because yeah, they might have a very rough year in 2025 if Disney doesn't really have anything spectacular to go and release, while Universal is going to go and open up Epic Universe, and a lot of that traffic for theme park fans is going to go to them. So yeah, I think this is going to be a wake-up call for Disney to go and really step up their game. Like, whatever they better have something prepared to go and counter Epic Universe. Okay, let's see what else we got. This looks interesting so far when it comes to How to Train Your Dragon section of Epic Universe. This may be one of the fun rides that I would definitely want to go to aside from Super Nintendo World and Dark Universe, so I can't wait to see more info soon. Also, who's ready for April to see the fate of what's going to happen to Warner Bros. Discovery? There were 2 board members resigned from Warner Bros. Discovery today when the Department of Justice probe was announced for the antitrust law, so I'm curious to know what's next for WBD. Okay, I'm sorry, what? Okay, so this sounds like a bit of a scandal going on. So, oh my god, so Warner Brothers, you're telling me Warner Brothers oh, and by the way, I just want to quickly say, so since tomorrow is your birthday, happy birthday, TK. Okay, but anyways, are you sure this is not a joke? Are you sure, like, you're telling me that apparently board members from Warner Brothers, they're bailing out, they're running away because the Warner Brothers is the Department of Justice is looking into some antitrust stuff. Oh boy. Oh wow. Yeah, I think it's safe to say Warner Brothers is in trouble. Oh boy. I think that resignation from those board members is a little bit of an admission right there. Oh crap. Yeah, this is like a little bonus story that we just got for this episode. So yeah, oh my god. Actually, we do have a link, so we're just going to go. I just want to go and quickly check this out. Let's just go and put this up right over here. Let's just go and hold on. Let me just go and quickly see right over here. Just want to go and have a quick mention. Yeah, so this article, this is from CNBC. 2 Warner Brothers Discovery directors resign after antitrust probe. Oh my god. So specifically, Stephen Mirren and Stephen Newhouse resign from the Warner Brothers Discovery board effective immediately. Oh my god. So apparently the investigation is into whether the pair violated an antitrust clause that prohibits directors from serving simultaneously on the boards of competitors. Okay, yeah, this is, oh my god. Yeah. This is going to be a very interesting month for Warner Brothers. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're starting this month on a pretty wild note, I gotta say. Woo! Okay, but anyways, does anybody else have any comments in terms of the Isle of Berk story? Does anybody have anything else to say? Because I know that we don't have any other comments. Let's see. Okay, we do have one. Even more hyped up for Universal Epic Universe at Orlando. Aside from Super Nintendo World, this new Dragon area is a breathtaking real-life version of Berk. I predicted the How to Train Your Dragon coaster a decade ago. Alright, so, I believe with all that said and done, that should go and do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Again, I am sorry for the delay that we have beforehand on the live Twitch version. I'll be sure that my computer will be fully ready for the next episode. And with that said, if you have enjoyed AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, even with this episode, then don't forget to go and subscribe to the AniMat Live Twitch channel and the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel. As well, don't forget to go and follow me on whatever podcast service you're listening to, rather it be on Spotify, Amazon, or iTunes. I think Google is pretty much dropping out, so you got, well, at least you got the other options. But with that said and done, I would like to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.